Hey, everybody. John Granato from the bench mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. AJ Hoffman from the Blitz afternoons on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Let's talk some Rockets basketball. Earlier this week, Joe Blank, who knows a lot about the Rockets since he worked for him for so long, he thought that Daryl Morey got over on Tillman. He says essentially Daryl convinced Tillman that he was stepping away. He did say that he had a gap year for his kids, that he wanted to spend time at home, and a week later he's with the 76ers. You buy that he wanted to get away and then the Sixers just lured him in 1 week? Or do you think maybe Tillman forced him out and Daryl got a job right away? Or maybe Philly was talking to him even while he was still with the Rockets, because that seems like an awfully quick time period to be turning over. Or maybe it was mutual. How do you see this one?
I mean, no, and I don't want to act like I know more about the internal workings of the Rockets than Joel does. I don't. But just common sense standpoint, to me, it seems like a mutual parting of ways. And the way you do that is you come up with a story that's agreeable by both parties. In this case, it's I want to spend more time with my family. There's presumably some sort of discount that Tillman gets on what the rest of his contract would have been. We would call that a buyout. Tillman leaves with his head up, Daryl leaves with his head up. Tillman is now saving money and is free to find a cheaper GM, which he clearly did. I think it was a very mutual decision, and I think that Daryl, the reason why he comes up with that story is, well, maybe there's not immediate interest in me as a GM. Maybe there's not someone knocking my door down a week later like the 76ers did. Saves him some face. But in this case, there's still interest in him, and he gets another quick job. So I do think it was mutual, and I don't think that this was somehow planned by Tillman that I'm going to get this money from Daryl and go get money somewhere else. I don't believe that.
No, but I do think Tillman ain't shedding any tears losing.
No.
He was paying Daryl $8 million a year or whatever, and he gets Stone, who is going to take the job and do it for less, probably a lot less. So he's saving money there. I don't know if I can buy that. I'm just got to get home with the kids. And I'm going to be a dad now, and then a week later you're with the Philadelphia 76ers. And, oh, by the way, a week is a pretty short amount of time for you to work out a big deal and a contract. And, yes, oh, my goodness, Daryl's available. We got to go get him. Hurry up. I think that they're probably – I'm not saying that there was any tampering or whatsoever, but it's easy to find out if there's interest in you. Your agent can always find out if there's interest out there. And Daryl knew that there was interest out there for him. Daryl wasn't going to be without work long. I'm not buying the gap year for the kids. He was going to work. And now, is it an ideal situation? I don't know. I think he's in much the same situation he was in here. They're just not good enough. They're in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons purgatory right now. They got two bad contracts in Horford and Harris that are – I don't know that you can get rid of those. So I don't know that Daryl's in a much better place. He sure did. If he did get a buyout from Tillman, he got the buyout. Now he's got Philadelphia money as well. So, I think Daryl wins in this whole deal, but I think Tillman wins too. I got a question for you, AJ, and we'll do it right after we do this with Coors Light, cold, clean, crisp, and refreshing. It's the official beer of golf, AJ. It's the official beer of when you get done with golf. It's the official beer of when you go out to dinner. It's the official beer of watching games. It's the official beer of poker. It's the official beer of everything in my life, and it could be the official beer of everything in your life. It's Texas Chill. It's a little chilly today, but that's okay. I still want to be refreshed, and I got cold, clean, crisp, refreshing every single time because I see those blue mountains, and you will too. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Here's my question to you, AJ, is will the Rockets be better off with Stone and Silas, better off than they would have been in, let's say, 2-3 years, would have been with Daryl Morey and Mike D'Antoni?
I don't think it changes a whole lot, honestly, in the next 2 or 3 years. I've believed for some time that the Rockets won't really hit reset until James Harden is off this roster. Do I think that Stone and Silas are going to be better at their jobs than those other two guys? No. Do I think that they're going to somehow get the Rockets over the hump? Obviously not. But do I think that the regression is going to be so great that they're just going to fall off the mat? I don't think that either. I think that the team has enough talent to do what they did this year, be a pretty solid regular season team, or at least a competitive regular season team, and then get wiped out in the playoffs. I think that's probably what their future is, with or without the guys that were here. And I don't think that changes much. I think what this does is it makes the years, and I think what really happened was Tillman realized, and we're not winning with this. So it's a lot easier to get rid of the two guys they got rid of than it is to get rid of James and Russ. So let's at least make these last few years of James and Russ more palatable. If we're not going to win, let's at least make it cheaper overall, ride it out, and then hit a full reset. I don't know if Stone and Silas are long-term solutions for the Rockets. But I do think that it's sort of it gives you a buffer between the next era, post James, and what they've got going right now.
What I do think is that I'm with you. I don't know that it changes anything. I don't think you can change anything, not with the contracts that they've got, not only with Russ and James, but Eric Gordon's contract too. I mean, and the salary cap that was supposed to be $125 million this year before COVID. And the starting lineup is $120 million. So you had little leeway anyway. I do think, though, that we're going to have less of mortgaging the future. That's what I think. And I think we're going to get back to, and the same with the Texans, is that we're not just going to throw away draft picks anymore. And I would hope that that's the case with the Rockets, too, because we've seen a lot of NBA teams that get the 16th, 17th, 18th, 22nd pick, and they're using it on really good key players for their organizations, where the Rockets just say, we don't give a rat's ass about any draft picks. We'll give them all to Oklahoma City just to get out Chris Paul's contract, and which is a bad way to go about it. And I don't think Rafael Stone is going to have that kind of leeway from Tillman to be able to do that. That maybe we got to build it a little bit differently, and I'm for that. I mean, I understand living today and getting Russ and getting Chris Paul and doing all that you can to win right now. But, I mean, you got to think about the future a little bit, and I didn't think Daryl did that. One of
the things we've heard about Tillman since he got here was Tillman is not going to let the Rockets tank. That's just not in his DNA. That's fine, and I think what he's found here is he's also a businessman who doesn't throw bad money after bad money after bad money. He realizes that he doesn't want to have the appearance that he's tanking, but he's not going to keep investing in something that he doesn't believe in, is what I think is happening here. So this is a way to pull out some of that investment, let this thing run its course, save money for the next 2 years, build draft capital, as you're talking about, and be ready for a new run probably 2-3 years from now.
The unfortunate part is that you swapped 2 and you gave 2 picks to Oklahoma City on top of the other picks that you gave away. I mean, it's going to be a long time digging out of this thing, I think, for the Rockets. At least 3 years, because that's how long Gordon and Russell's contract, Westbrook's contract are. And, James, we'll see if he's another 3-year guy. I don't know that James is – maybe you redo James, but certainly the other guys, you got to get out of those and do something different. And you can't do it for 3 years. So this is going to be a long-term project for anybody.
The situation's very similar to what's going on Kirby with the Texans. The regime before dug you a hole that is not going to be quick to get out of.
That one's going to be quicker, though. That one, you're going to have dead money, some dead money, but you can get out of those contracts. You can't have any dead money in basketball.
Yeah.
So you're able to. I think the Texans are a situation that you can dig out quicker than this Rocket situation.